Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have a great and wonderful day. And it seems that we are taking the W for this. Again, we're taking a few W's today as the news is breaking out because we're seeing that people are not very happy. They're a bit upset of some of the things that is going on. But with us, the far left are crumbling. They're not doing so well. They are trying every facet in the book to, as we know, to bring down Trump and any conservative or right-thinking person on this planet, and that's where they're gonna go. Now we have this here as we go on to this one victory. Far-left agitators, including journalists, sentenced to federal prison, ordered to pay huge fines for firebombing police vehicles in 2020. That's huge. The reason why this is a huge thing, guys, is because for the longest time that we were not able to get a lot of these people arrested. Of course, it took 3 years, but they're finally arrested. And I also would say that victory is slowly coming our way. A group of far-left agitators have been sentenced after pleading guilty to a series of violent attacks targeting police vehicles and buildings in and around Little Rock, Arkansas in 2020. Hey, I've been there before. Only one pleaded guilty to arson, while the others admitted to possession of or conspiracy to possess an unregistered destructive device, a Molotov cocktail. 4 of the 5 defendants, 33-year-old Major Benjamin Long Hao, 30-year-old Emily Nowen, 27-year-old Aline Villegas, and 25-year-old Renee Goddard, were each given federal prison terms varying between 17 months and 66 months and ordered to pay huge fines. A fifth 34-year-old Brittany Dawn Jeffrey was informed of her hate of her hate. Well, not too far off, but of her fate in 2022 and received the shortest sentence and lowest fine at 17 months and $529,000 respectively. These are huge, guys. Again, as I want to iterate here, this is huge because finally the far left are getting punished for some of their actions, and that is a good thing. Now, granted, this may take a while, but we are getting W's across the country. The past few months have been mostly W's. We had some L's, but we got to be able to take some L's to get mostly W's. This is what it takes, and we're doing some good here. According to the Department of Justice, Long Hao received the longest jail sentence and highest fine at 66 months and $86,000 respectively. Nolan and the Goddard were sentenced to 18 months. Okay, my apologies. It was $529 respectively. All right, that's my apologies there. She received the least assistance, least one. So it was not $529,000, guys. I apologize. It was $529K or $529. I got it confused there. I apologize. Anywho. It says respectively, Nolan and Goddard were each sentenced to 18 months in prison and ordered to pay $35,000. Espinoza Villegas received the same prison term, but their restitution was $34,000. There is no justification for violent acts targeting our law enforcement community, said United States Attorney Jonathan D. Ross. The use of Molotov cocktails to destroy law enforcement property is not a form of legitimate protest. Rather, it is a troubling escalation of gratuitous violence that seeks to stoke embers of anarchy in our community, and it will not be tolerated in the Eastern District of Arkansas. The Constitution protects our rights to peacefully assemble, he added, but make no mistake, when you use violence to advance your agenda, the Department of Justice will make every effort to put you in prison. Anyone engaging in such criminal activity will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. On August 25th, 2020, a large crowd of far-left demonstrators had held a violent protest at Little Rock Police Department's 12th Street substation, where they punctured the tires of police vehicles and threw Molotov cocktails. 3 days later, an Arkansas State Police vehicle was vandalized and burned while parked in a lot of police headquarters in the capital. Another vehicle was set on fire, and several others were vandalized, again with Molotov cocktails. Federal investigators concluded that defendants conspired together, aided and abetted on one another, and used encrypted applications to communicate with each other in an attempt to thwart law enforcement detection of groups' criminal activities. Renee Goddard is a left-wing journalist who was previously arrested and charged with obstructing governmental operations while violating curfew at BLM protests in June 2020. Jeffrey has a criminal past and allowed comrades to assemble incendiary devices at their home. Okay, at her home. My apologies. So Yes, these people are finally being punished. But we have even more great news. We have this. Supreme Court to review obstruction law used against January 6 rioters that could impact the case against Trump. So this is another huge victory. This is even bigger probably than the last one of the far left agitators are being arrested. This is even bigger because this is something massive. So we're gonna go through this. I know, everybody. It's CNN. Okay, I understand. We're just gonna go through it and see what they have to say. All right. And whatnot. The Supreme Court said Wednesday that it will consider whether a part of a federal obstruction law can be used to prosecute some of the rioters involved in January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. How the Supreme Court defines how the obstruction law can be used related to the Capitol attack could impact hundreds of criminal cases. Even the pending case against former President Trump, who is also charged with obstructing an official proceeding. Exactly, which means they could immediately, if all goes what we think it may go, hopefully it goes in the correct direction, this could easily make Trump have all his charges dropped. This is not going to bode very well for the far left at all, and of course our dictator Joe Biden. The specific issue in the case involves a catch-all provision of a federal criminal statute that makes it a crime for anyone who otherwise obstructs, influences, or impedes any official proceeding and what the government must prove with regard to the intent of January 6 rioters. The Justice Department has used the charge as the cornerstone of many of the more serious Capitol riot cases where defendants were outspoken about their desire to stop Congress certification of President Joe Biden's electoral college win or were instrumental in the physical breach of the Capitol. Joseph Fisher, the man at the center of the case, was charged with multiple federal crimes for his role in the January 6 attack. A federal judge agreed to throw out the specific charge brought against Fisher under the obstruction law. A federal appeals court divided on the matter of earlier this year, with a majority holding that the broad terms of the obstruction statute were satisfied as applied to individuals who forcibly entered the Capitol on January 6th. The Supreme Court will now decide the issue of this term. Now, this is wrong. There was nobody that really forcefully entered the Capitol on January 6th. Now, let me double correct this. There were some, but there was not many who did this. A lot of the instances were cops actually allowing people to go through, to view the Capitol, to enter the building. They allowed it. I think we even had some FBI agents going through there. So I don't know where they're getting this from. This is an issue because I did not see anybody forcibly trying to enter the Capitol. I said maybe some far leftists that were doing it, or maybe Ashley Babbitt, Abbott, I believe her name is. I could be getting it wrong. Where she was murdered by somebody that had arms. So there's that's happening that you guys didn't seem to report. That the court is intervening now suggests that the justices are interested in providing general clarity on an issue that has caused at least some confusion in a subset of the January 6 cases, said Steve Valdek, CNN Supreme Court analyst and professor at the University of Texas School of Law. The justices' move Wednesday represents the first time the High Court has agreed to examine the prosecution of such someone involved in the Capitol riot. It comes the same week that Special Counsel Jack Smith has asked the court to review Trump's claims of immunity from prosecution for his role in attempting to observe the 2020 election. Federal prosecutors said video footage showed him running at a police line outside the Capitol yelling, "Charge!" A patrolman with a North Cornwall Township police department official allegedly yelled, "Motherfuckers," as he clashed with officers on January 6th. So yeah, again, this is going to have a huge impact on the Trump case, as obviously they said, and we'll see on how this goes and see how it plays out and what the Supreme Court says. If it all goes to where I'm hoping it goes, then Trump can be easily win all of his cases or have all of his cases dropped against him. This is really good. We need to be looking towards the future here. We need to keep on pressing and pressing hard, so that way we can get the victory in this country that we want, safe from these authoritarians and dictators that want to ruin every single life of Americans and people that hate America as well. And then we're going to have cleanup if we do succeed in doing this, because there's always cleanup afterwards. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, this social media.